Hello, neighbors. Happy Monday. Sorry, I just got distracted by a bluebird in my yard. I'm wearing my Native Made shirt. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but they're basically almost Red Bank local. Adam is actually just like one street outside of Red Bank in Chattanooga city limits, but just makes really awesome clothes. So if you haven't checked them out, you should. I love where I live here in Red Bank. So we've got a decently full agenda tomorrow. The big thing that we'll be doing tomorrow is having our public hearing and our first reading and vote of our on the budget for next year, for fiscal year 26. So if you have not been able to come to meetings to hear that discussion, they are streamed. They were streamed, sorry, and they're recorded on our YouTube page, so you can go and check those out. And all of the presentations that we heard from all of our department heads. But we won't be voting on the tax rate just yet because, I mean, it's going to be the current tax rate, but it's going to change because it's a reassessment year. But we haven't gotten that certified tax rate back from the state yet. That probably won't happen until July. Or even August. I think last time in 21 when we did this, I think we didn't get it until closer to August. So when that happens, we will have a totally separate public hearing and conversation around the certified tax rate. So if you do have any questions about the budget, I'll do my best to answer them. Just let me know. The first thing we're going to be doing in our work session tomorrow, we have a few things that are, as usual, just going to be happening in our work session. But we're going to be doing a presentation to our city recorder because she's officially, finally been certified by the state department. She's a state of Tennessee certified municipal clerk and recorder. She's actually had that certification for some time now, but there was a struggle trying to figure out which department she was supposed to notify so she could get that certification. And so, yeah, it's finally happening. So we're going to recognize her efforts and recognize her officially as a certified clerk and recorder. Item number 2 is approving our updated comprehensive travel policy. This just has to do with like mileage, reimbursement rates, per diem, all the things that like come from the federal government, but we had some language in there that was just outdated around travel. So it's been updated, and our city recorder, Miss Perry, will be going over all of that tomorrow in the work session. Item number 3 is to authorize an application to the Tennessee Arts Commission for the Arts Build Community Grant in the amount of $5,000. And I'm really excited about this because our Public Art Board wants to put in this application for $5,000 non-matching grant so that we can add some more public art on the utility boxes. So we did 4 already, and they're at different intersections in our city. They've identified 4 spots on Morrison Springs Road where there's high visibility. You know, that's like one of the major intersections, major roads that brings you into Red Bank. And so we are applying for that grant and hope that we get it, and then we can bring some more public art to our community, which is very desired, and I'm hopeful that we'll get it. Item number 4 is just an agenda item. It's a new appointment to our planning commission. So Brenna Kelly, who has been serving on the planning commission since I think maybe December of 22, had to step off the board. And so our commissioner, Hayes Wilkinson, he's making a new appointment, and he is appointing Blake Pierce, who is very well known in our community for all of the different organizations and businesses that he's a part of. So really excited to bring him on board. His insight will be very valuable on our planning commission. We're going to present budget workshop certificates. So if you attended all of our workshops this year, you'll get a certificate. I think there were 5 people in total. So we'll be recognizing them tomorrow and appreciating their level of engagement in our budget process. Item number 6 is to authorize a capital outlay note in the amount of $100,000 for our police department. So this is, we actually authorized a loan amount for, I think it was $363,000 last year. And we usually don't take the loans out officially until like closer to the end of the fiscal year. But we have already paid for the vehicles. But in order to just save us some money on interest, because they were able to go ahead and order them and get all of them in, instead of paying interest on them over time, we paid cash out of the general fund for a portion of that, so that $263,000 amount, and then we are going to be taking out a loan for the remaining a $100,000 amount. So that'll save us money in the long run, and our police department still won't need new vehicles for like another year or two. So it's a win-win, and that also means that reduced our projected use of fund balance, because we went ahead and just used cash that we already had. So for like the next year, the debt service was reduced significantly. We will be having our monthly financial update from our CFO, Chris Pickles. She just does this every month at our second meeting to talk about where we are in the current budget. So like what percentage of the year or of the fiscal year like we are through the budget, and what percentage we've used of each of those budgeted line items, and where we are up till now. So we're getting pretty close. Like those numbers are like getting higher and higher, closer to 100, because the end of June is the end of the fiscal year. So she will be going over all of those details tomorrow. And then, like I said, so item number 8 on the work session agenda is discuss the public hearing and first reading of the fiscal year 26 budget. So as I said before, we did have our budget workshops, heard all the presentations. It's kind of gone through a couple of amendments, so to speak, at our last meeting where we had open discussion of it with our whole board. We did come to a consensus to increase the cost of living, the cost of living increase, the COLA increase, from 1.5% to 2%. And we did have consensus from among the 5 of us to do that. It initially had been cut down to just try to cut down on projected use of fund balance. But a couple of us particularly were not wanting to kind of start getting into that trap again of being behind inflation, especially when it comes to our employees. So the Social Security COLA increase this year that went into effect in January was 2.5%. So we're not going to do 2.5%, but we're at 2%, and I'm hopeful that maybe that might encourage a 5-0 vote on our budget. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. But yeah, so we right now, the budget has been, the projected budget or the budget estimate has been uploaded. So if you haven't seen that yet, you can check that out on redbanktn.gov and go to the top where it says government, and then you can go to agenda and minutes and pull up that packet and go ahead and look that over. And then if you have questions, you can bring them tomorrow to our regular meeting at 6 o'clock. We will have a public hearing before we actually have our discussion and first vote on the budget. So you can ask questions then, express thoughts, comments, etc. And then item 9 is a comprehensive fee schedule adoption. I talked about this maybe the last Porch talk I did, but we have fees and fines and penalties and permit fees, all these things that are all over the place, scattered throughout our municipal code. They're not in one easy place where people can easily go find them. People don't, it's hard to figure out how much it is to reserve the community center, how much it costs when you get a speeding ticket. I don't know. So there's like all these fines are all over the place. So instead we've combine them all into one document, which is a modern thing to do. We just didn't have anybody who was working on this before, and we do now, and so we're ready to adopt that comprehensive fee schedule. So you just have to go to one place, one document, and you can find everything you need in that one document. So very excited about that. And then the last two items, we're going to be proclaiming May 11 through the 17th. I guess we're a little behind on that, but as National Police Week, I know we did celebrate them last week and we highlighted that, and then May 18th through the 24th as Public Works Appreciation Week. So if you have seen one of our police officers or one of our Public Works employees, just make sure that you show them some appreciation. Say thank you. If you feel like making some cookies and sending them their way, I'm sure they would appreciate that. And that's it. That's our agenda for tomorrow. Like I said, the big thing is doing our first vote on the budget. It's pretty lean, about as lean as they could get it, and also still be meeting the, service expectations of the community, also providing our staff with the resources and equipment that they need to do their jobs. And yeah, that's it. I don't know if you guys have any questions. You can, if you don't have them right now, you can always message me or email me. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here, Abby. We have some just really awesome neighbors here in Red Bank. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's very warm out here. You can see I'm getting very red. I'm not ready for summer yet, guys. Okay. Well, I appreciate you all tuning in, and then hopefully I'll see you at our meetings tomorrow. Our work session is back to the regular 5 o'clock time. Our last couple have been early at 4:30 just to give us more time for the budget presentations and stuff, but we're back to our 5 o'clock time for work session, and then 6 o'clock for our regular meeting. And then we do have 2 ordinances that we're going to be voting on for the second and final vote. One of them is to change our code so that we can adopt the comprehensive fee schedule, and then the second one is abandoning the unopened right-of-way on Morrison Springs Road for the applicant who wants to put a very nice sounding development on that property between Tom Weathers Drive, like where the pool is, and then Highway 27. We've seen some very rough draft concepts, and I think it could be really, really, really great for our community. So I'm hopeful that the developers will really be continuing good communication with us, and trying to do things that work for them, but also add value to our community, and are bringing things to our community that our neighbors have been asking for, which right now it seems like that's the way it's going. So hopefully it will continue to go that way. All right. Okay, friends. Well, if you think of anything, you know where to find me. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow at 5 at our work session, and then 6 for our regular meeting. Have a good night.